Are you ready to get frothy? Oh, much too low. Good morning. Today I am in Richmond, Rhode Island, and I am here to play Willow Valley Disc Golf. And this is a fantastic little course. It's kind of a hidden gem down here in southern Rhode Island. It is situated on an old farm. It's about 100 acres worth of property. They still have some horses here and things like that. But the disc golf course is one of the nicer ones in the area. It's a tight, wooded course for the most part, but there are a few areas where you play out through some old pastures and have some wide open bomber throws. Now, this course doesn't feature a hole. I think there might be 2 of them that are just over 500 feet. So it's not the kind of course where you're gonna air a disc out the way you do at, say, Bufhamville or at Maple Hill. But despite that, this course is still gonna challenge you to throw every shot that you might have in your bag. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so what does this course have to offer? Well, potentially 27 holes worth of very good disc golf. I know that there are 18 out here and I've played those several times. There's also kind of a hidden loop of 9 additional holes that are short holes. They tend to be very technical. I'm not certain that those are still installed. I saw something in a post someone wrote on the internet saying that they couldn't find them, the baskets have been taken out. So we'll do some exploring halfway through the round, see if we can find those. But tee pads are mostly finished. Tee signs are these slate signs that are kind of nifty, but unfortunately, due to weather, they're painted slate. The paint is washed away and some of them have become badly faded. So if you're concerned about distances and things like that, do take a scorecard with you before you head on out here. Other than that, well, and there's also a practice basket where you can warm up. In fact, there's 2 practice baskets where you can warm up. They're both located right near the kiosk where you sign in. When you sign in, do fill out the waiver form and do sign in. It's $5 per round. That is per round, not per day. I did not see a per day price here. So $5 a round covers you for presumably the 27 holes that you might get in. Other than that, there's not much else going on here. It's a parking lot and a disc golf course. So it doesn't score particularly well on the birdie scale. There's no permanent restrooms. I didn't even see a porta potty around. There's no facilities where you could buy drinks or snacks or anything like that. So if you're coming to play disc golf here, and I do think you should, definitely pack your stuff in advance and bring it with you. That said, let's get to hole 1. Hole 1, 281 feet straight ahead. The pin is located slightly to the left. It's a really nice, easy starting hole for you. You want to be chasing a birdie here, but you have to be careful of one thing. In the middle of the frame, you'll probably see, just to the left of the tree that's here, a dark hole in the background. That is a small cave of sorts that is under a big glacial rock, and that is OB. So if you overcook your drive, get a bad skip, and slide underneath that big old rock, you are OB. That could turn your birdie drive into a measly par. That rolled right up against the OB rope that I mentioned earlier. So there I was complaining about how you might skip long and go OB. I came nowhere close to doing that. My shot was like 50 feet short of the pin. This brings up another, I wouldn't call it a gripe, but just a thing to be aware of. There's no open field for which you can throw discs and practice in before you start your round. So warming up is something that you're going to want to do, you know, with a towel or stretch band or something like that before you come out on the course. Okay, hole 2. Something I've noticed with the first 2 holes is they have short rubber pads for your tee boxes. But because there are people like myself with longer legs, they've also added these additional spots on the back so you can get a slightly longer run-up. That's a nice little upgrade to what I'm sure was the original solution for the pads, and it works fine. We'll see if this is true with the other holes as we get out deeper into the course. Hole 2, 262 feet, but this one goes slightly uphill, so it plays just as long as the last one. There is OB along the rock wall on the right-hand side, all the way up into and around the basket. It's kind of a funky little green. I'll have to show you that when we get up there. Oh, that's high. Oh no. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do with that. Okay, I have a bit of a conundrum. My drive faded out and I landed on the opposite side of the rock wall here. I'm resting on the rock. There is rope over there indicating where the OB is, and there is rope over there indicating where OB is, but there is no rope here. And I looked at the T sign again. It indicates this area is OB. I have to assume that the rocks are considered OB, so I am resting on the OB marker, therefore I am OB, which sucks. Can't put my foot up there because that's OB. So a couple things while I'm here. That's a tough putt because this area where you see these rocks extending around, that is another marker for OB, although again, I don't see a rope on top of it. That makes running this from a distance kind of a challenge. You know, any kind of, if you're circle 2 or further out and you want to take a run at this, you're gonna have to deal with that OB. Same thing if you've got the distance to get up here off of the tee. There's OB all around this green. Other thing that's worth mentioning is the baskets here are in good shape, but they are single chain deal, and most of them are in fact mobile baskets, you know, that have just been laid in place on top of some cinder blocks or pads and set in place. So they're not the best baskets around, but they get the job done. Hole 3 is one of the longer holes on the course. We are headed straight out through these trees, really tight gap straight ahead of us, and then we're going to bank to our left and go slightly uphill to a green that is positioned among some ledge rocks that are up there, some really cool glacial rocks that are up there. Again, another tricky green because attacking that green can result in some bad bounces and some bad skips. You kind of have to see the green and understand what's going on here. But this is a good hole. Okay. I'm really missing having a place to warm up or even a net to warm up my arm. I'm missing my lines badly. I just got lucky and I got straight out there anyway. So the basket on this hole can be a little bit difficult to see. It's a black basket, but it's got a yellow flag on top. It's right up here, straight ahead of us, on top of those rocks, and to the left near a tree on the side there. That's where we're headed. Oh, bad bounce. Okay, I got very lucky with that shot and I managed to land technically inside the circle. And as I look around, I can see a pair of whiskers here and another one over there. And so at some point in time, they had whiskers marking the circle's edge here, but I don't see any others other than those two. So I don't know if they're just old and they got, you know, kicked around and torn up by a lawnmower or something like that. There aren't many left. But I can at least tell that I am inside the circle. And I'm looking at the basket, which is positioned high on a rock with lots of potential for a roll-away putt. So we'll see how I do here. And a tree directly in my way. Oh, ho, ho, the putt putter's working even if the drivers aren't. Hole 4, plays through a narrow gap and then straight ahead with a slight bend to the right. Do pay attention to the badly faded sign before you tee off, because there is an OB area where two walls meet out there, two stone walls. You want to pay attention because that could come into play on your drive if you turn the disc over and go too far to the right. Oh, I think I just cruised way past it. Oh, shorted it. So this is actually what I think of as a good example of good hole design. It's a technical hole, but it's not a killer. It's not Dacey-esque in terms of being loaded with trees, and it's not like a pitch and putt course where everything's OB. It's the right amount of technical and still accessible for a good AM level player. Hole 5 is one of the big long ones. We are going all the way up this hill, out through a tunnel of sorts, and into an open field. Then from there, we're going to shoot to the left. The basket is shaded by a ginormous boulder over there. It's a very interesting hole. I like this one quite a bit. It does represent a challenge, and I believe it is. This might be one of the 500 footers and a par 4. Ooh, I was hoping that would come out a little bit more. Too low. Playing this hole, if you can, you want to fade and be more toward the left-hand side if you're in this field. Oh no. Sit. No, this way. Over the top. Hole 6, 231 feet, straight ahead. There's a large boulder on each side of the fairway and many trees making it a very tight gap. But at 230 feet long, you can see the basket right there staring at you. What you don't see is just how high off the ground that basket really is. Not horrible. So here's my lie. I have a good look at the basket right up there, but let's go take a look at what we're actually putting at. Oh boy. Oh. Hole 7, straight uphill, tight fairway. I don't see a T sign anywhere around here, just a hole marker telling me which hole number it is. So I grabbed the rangefinder and I pinged a tree that's just short of the basket up there, and it told me it was 203 feet. I guess, if my memory serves correct, that the basket can't be any more than 20 feet beyond that. So somewhere between 210 and 220 distance, par 3. Okay, probably circle's edge. Terrible. Next hole, hole 8. Hole 8 is another relatively short hole. It plays up and over a low ridge and then fades off to the left. It's the natural right-hand backhand shot or a strong lefty turnover. The only problem here is there's a number of trees right in the middle of the fairway. There's a couple of lanes you can use to get through them. You just got to pick your lane and commit to it, or get really lucky, either way. I suspect that was pretty good. So I filmed an episode here about a year ago with my buddy Kevin, and it went terribly. But I also forgot to bring water with me and forgot to stop on the way down. So I ended up learning what dehydration feels like and basically heat failure. But it was a lovely round, let me tell you. I think I can say that the arm has warmed up now. Let's hope the putter remains hot. That way. Hole 9, 359 feet, par 3. It is a tunnel shot straight out there that just goes straight to the basket. Basket is positioned on top of a large glacial boulder again, so another elevated putt, another elevated green. Get off of that. No. Hole 10. My rangefinder tells me this is about 289 feet, so I think that's pretty close based on the eyeball test here. It is one that is built for the lefty this time. A lefty hyzer will get you on there, but I think there is enough room for a righty flick to also get you onto the green. Backhanders, gonna have to turn it out there and bend it to the right at the end of the throw. A little short, threw it too low. Hole 11 is a little pipsqueak of a hole. 204 feet long, straight ahead, just a narrow tunnel shot. Kind of an ace run. The only trick is there's OB just to the left of the pin. And when I say just to the left, I mean like maybe 15 or 20 feet to the left and behind the pin. So you can't overrun the basket. Oh, and that's going right for the OB. Ooh, I don't have a happy feeling about that. You tell me, out or in? I am leaning up against the rock, but the bottom of the disc is on bare ground, but the rock next to it suggests that that might be inside the wall. I don't know. Actually wasn't resting against the rock, it was resting against the plant that was in front of the rock. Hole 12. This is another long one. We're going to drive out there 300 feet or so, and then the hole starts to bend to the right, going out to a pin that's around a corner. There's a sign here on the ground that I just noticed that says it's a new par 5 pin. I think that's the way the layout has been for several years now, at least since I started playing here, unless they've changed something relatively recently. So, yeah, we'll just have to get out there and find out what we got. Okay, that's short but safe. nose up. Man, I just missed it completely. That's horrible. Oh. So as I was making my third shot on that hole, there was some question as to whether or not a sign in the middle of the fairway was a mando. From a distance it kind of looked like it was, but it was a really evil mando given that there's OB along the side of the fairway as well. Another guy came, played through, he said, I doubt it. We took a closer look at the sign and sure enough, it's just a T sign for where the next hole is to start. So I went for a walk after hole 12, trying to find the old 9-hole loop. And I think the better way to find it is off of hole 9, first of all. But the problem is after wandering around for a bit, I found some familiar looking fairways. I determined that it's not there. There were no baskets installed on the couple of holes that I found. Tee pads were falling apart, overgrown. There were trees falling down in the middle of fairways. I have to say that based on the first couple of holes that I found there, that the alternate 9-hole circuit is now gone. It's been pulled and it's no longer in use, which is kind of a shame. It was a nice, short, technical little section with a lot of short 200-foot holes and things like that that brought you around to some different parts of the property. Not that the new stuff is bad though. We'll get back to that right now. Hole 13. This is basically a right-hand backhander hole. That's all there is to it. It's a crescent-shaped fairway that goes out here and then curls around to the left to where the green is. You can kind of see the pin right out there through the trees, but it's really a big hyzer, so you want to get your disc up in the air a little bit, just not high enough to hit the branches that are hanging overhead. Won't fade. Oh, that's not nearly enough fade. Oh, right behind it. Hole 14, 397 feet long, par 4. Par 4 for a 400-foot hole is a little bit soft, you would think, but this is a tricky one. I really like this hole. Starting off the tee, we got to go uphill, and then the green takes us, the fairway takes a slight bend to the left, and goes out there to a green that is up on a slight rise with some rocks and things like that. There's a couple of trees in the fairway, but there's also OB on the right side of it and beyond the green. It's a really tough throw because you can't really get that much on your drive throwing uphill this high. It's really hard to make your disc land where you want it to be in the fairway for the second shot, trying to get up to the green. Oh no. Oh, much too low. Okay, that did not go so well. According to my rangefinder, that drive went 159 feet. I reached almost the top of the hill. Now I've got to get to the pin. And the pin is located, let me get this rascal away. The pin is located straight through those trees, another, I don't know, 250 feet or so. So I've got some work to do. I got two lines I can use to approach this, either going out the hyzer route or the Annie route over this boulder that's in my way. I think I'm going to try the Annie route just to be silly. Oh, that was looking pretty good too. Oh, it stalled. Okay, let's see. There's no rope and there's no marking, but I believe this wall is OB. I'm just going to play the disc from where it is and not take the meter because I'm not sure. straddle putt. All right, safe par. Where's 15? I believe it's that way, going out across the field. Hole 15. This is your grip and rip hole. It's a par 3, 425 feet. Just throw out there into the field, and then the pin is located just inside the tree line on the other side. In fact, I have the camera positioned so it should be directly in between these trees that are right off the tee pad. Trick to this hole is the trees aren't buried deep in the woods there, but the approach from the left side is definitely trickier than the approach from the right side. Unfortunately, a short tee pad. Oh my. Well, that's not out of bounds, but I would rather not be in the weeds. Oh, get over that rock. Thank you. Easy 3, but you're going to have a serious arm if you're going to get the deuce. All right. That way. Hole 16. This is, I believe, the longest hole on the course. At 516 feet, par 4, this one plays back out into the open field for a stretch, but then dives back into the trees and goes another 200 or 250 feet into the trees, uphill to a guarded green. It's a really nice hole. It starts off with us throwing out and high off of the tee shot, much the same way that another hole 16 I'm very familiar with plays. This is a good one. Oh, don't fade too much. So that drive actually worked out quite well. I am right here in the shadows on the edge of the open field, and I'm looking up the fairway. I've got an Annie shot from my lie up onto the green. Oh, it's a good line, but a little bit low. Okay, hole 17, that way. No. That one. Hole 17, another long one. It's a par 4 that goes straight out here between this tree gap and then heads uphill, bending to the right. It's a grip and rip hole, but you do have to shape that tee shot to get out there. And it's going to be a long way uphill on some rocky and terrain filled with trees to get a birdie on this one. Oh, hit a tree at the end. I didn't mention this when I was on the tee pad, but turns out this rock wall is OB. This is my lie right here. The basket is way up on that hill, over the leaning tree that you see in front of me. I would say that leaning tree is probably only a third of the way there, so I got a long way to go after this. Hold. It didn't hold. All right. Oh. All right. Safe. Hole 18. This is another short one. Goes out about 150 feet and then just drops straight down into a little gully, and the basket is located at the bottom. So we're going out right there, and you see this, the sun is shining through the trees. That point is where it just goes over and drops down almost like a cliff. It's actually a difficult walk getting down there. Basket is probably only another 100 feet down that hill and slightly to the left. Too deep, didn't fade soon enough. Okay, that's 18, and all the rocks that come with it. I'm going to find a quiet place to park myself that's off the course and give you my final thoughts on this one. Okay, what do I think of this course? I love it. It's got hills, it's got, valleys, it's got rocks, it's got trees. It is a technical course, but it is a very fair course. It will make you throw every disc in your bag, and you'll have fun doing it. I love this place. At $5 a round, that's a bargain. This place is a beautiful piece of property, and I think the designers of the course have done the best they can in order to maximize the use of the land that they have available to them. If I were going to compare this to another course, I'd probably say Topo, because it's a lot of fun, even if it's not the most challenging course that's around. Topo obviously is going to have the advantage that has a pro shop, and the guy Marty up there, he keeps that place immaculate. That's one of the minor problems that we have with this course. That is, all the signs are worn out. Even though they were awesome painted on slate signs, they're all faded away. You can't see a thing for information on them, and you really need to bring a scorecard with you if you want to know distances, and there's not much to tell you what the shape of the fairway is if this is the first time playing the course. But that's a really minor problem with what is essentially an excellent course. It may score low on the birdie scale for a lack of amenities, but it makes it up with a lot of fun throws and courses that sometimes photobomb you.